Hi, this is Kurt with Friendly DevOps, a channel dedicated to discussing Linux and DevOps related topics. So, I'm sure you've read the title of this video, and I'm not creating it to be inflammatory. I just wanted to put in my 2 cents after the California law and after Sony has deleted the digital purchases of several of their customers on the PlayStation Store. Now, I'm not going after Steam out of nowhere. One, I have a personal story related to Steam, and as well, Steam has released the Steam Deck, so this puts it in a world I'm more comfortable of talking about. I don't want to come across as if I'm negatively judging anyone for having a Steam library. Me personally, I did have a Steam library, though my utilization of Steam wasn't actually initially by choice. But I actually foresaw this when I was quite young in my teens that this was going to be the type of world we're living in. When Valve made Half-Life 2 exclusive to the Steam storefront. Now most people forget, but I I can't, that Steam is actually DRM. And I know like a lot of people hate DRM, but for some reason give Steam a pass. I know after Steam allowed us to have an offline mode, which was only limited, that we considered Steam to be just a storefront that wasn't as intrusive, but is still intrusive from my perspective. And the reason I have to bring this up is because I accidentally bought a Steam game. I did not have a Steam account before this, but I'm a musician, or I'd like to think of myself as a musician. I play guitar, and back in 2011, I first started playing guitar, and a game came out that was very helpful in training and providing almost immediate feedback in our progress of playing a guitar called Rocksmith. I had purchased the game on computer, and I had loved the game. It was excellent. It was amazing. But an even better version of Rocksmith came out called Rocksmith 2014. And I then chose to purchase that game from a digital storefront called Gamergate. And when I purchased it, I didn't read the fine print, only to find out this was an Steam exclusive game. Now, I'd been very wary of becoming a Steam or opening up a Steam account up until this point. But after purchasing the game digitally, I kind of had no choice from my perspective at the time. I didn't have an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3 to play the game, and it was only available on PC via Steam. So I went forward with my purchase, and I played the game. Had a decent experience on Steam. Nothing that I truly had to complain about for about 2 years until the computer that I was running my Steam account on, which was iMac, was no longer supported by the Steam launcher. I had a 2009 iMac, and I know somewhere 2016, 2017, Apple had withdrawn support for the iMac version that I was using and was not going to provide any further OS updates for the version of iMac that I was using. And along with that came Steam's refusal to support that version of OS as well. One day I made an update of my Steam launcher, and it broke my game. Well, actually, it didn't break my game because the game was just not able to be played. So, being responsible with my digital footprint, I always like to keep my services and applications as up to date as possible. So when the latest Steam client update was available, I updated, only to find out I had no way of launching into the client and no way of rolling back the update. So now all of my digital purchases on Steam were no longer available. And then when I made an inquiry and complained to Valve about the fact that without anything being wrong with my computer, without any additional requirements being provided on the game, I was no longer to access a game that I had been playing for more than 3 years at this point. I was not provided with any means by which to resolve the situation on my current hardware. The only thing being told to me is that at this point I needed to buy a new computer or uh, find a way to upgrade my OS, even though it was no longer supported. Now, I bring up this situation only as a personal anecdote uh, demonstrating that you don't own your games on your Steam library. If you did, there would be no way for Valve to have come onto my computer and then disabled my access to the games that I had purchased. Now, I had been wary of Steam from the jump, literally from the moment that Half Life 2 was made exclusive on Steam. I understood that without a physical disk or some way of storing the install medium on my computer or on a physical storage device that I owned, that control over that game and the ability to deny me access to the game would eventually be a reality. So, being wary of Steam, I made sure not to have a large library. Now, this experience, along with the closing of storefronts by Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, has led me to decide that all of my game purchases going forward will be either physical or from a storefront such as Good Old Games, where the selling point of the service is that you actually own your game and you can download the install medium and be able to use it wherever and whenever you like. I think there needs to be a change in mentality when there comes to digital purchases because, as you can see with the California law, the law will not protect you. California chose, instead of coming up with some legislation to ensure the ownership of our digital purchases, they came out with a law that only dictates that the storefront must explicitly explain that we do not own any of these digital purchases, which to me, I already knew. So I know many people are out there needed that clarification, but that is not a worthy consolation. Physical games are dying, and I myself am preparing for the eventual end of physical games by stacking up a largest collection I can possibly afford. And I'm just hoping that we can stave it off as long as we can. I'm not here to be a doomer, and I don't want to put anybody down. I don't want to, judge again negatively anybody who has a large Steam library. I'm just here to put in my 2 cents, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So take care, peace, until the next time.